Hello and welcome to the channel. So this is take two, and I have a paper here, and you may want to get one yourself. You might see that there's a little bit of writing in there. I don't know if you can see past the glare, but it's because I've already gone through some of this, and I had to try again. Here's what I want to get across. The point here is objective-based training. I released a short recently where I talk about getting what you want, like actually achieving what you want from physical exercise or any endeavor that you have. Finding the exercises or the things that actually that will achieve it, taking from those what you enjoy and stitching them together in the way you want. And that will get you the result while you're having fun, and that just is a recipe for motivation. You're seeing results and you're having fun while doing it. For instance, something that a lot of people have is aesthetics. They want to look good. They want to feel good. Well, they want to look good. Aesthetics is looks. Okay. Thing is, anything will do that. Anything will make you look better. You will, if you go and do any kind of sport or physical activity, you will put on a little bit of muscle and you'll lose some weight. As long as it's a physical activity. You know, you're not going to get ripped from chess. Sorry, you chess fans out there. You're not going to get ripped from chess. But the idea is, okay, that's already there. Like in any physical training, that's already there. So really and truly, leave that alone. Don't think about, maybe a little, but like generally speaking, don't think about aesthetics, because it will come anyway. Maybe not in the way you want, but you have to understand that you're not going to look like anyone else. Simple fact. So take your objective. What do you want? And I get this from two different YouTubers. One, Matt Schifferly of the Red Delta Project. He talks about figure out what you want and then do the things in the right amounts at the right times to get what you want. Plain and simple. And it works. It does work. I've seen results just from less effort, but because it's exactly what I want, I see the results. Makes sense. The other one is from the Bioneer, Adam Shinicki of the Bioneer. And he talks about, and he has a video about this, and it's 2 years old, I think, at this point, maybe 3. How to create your own workout style, not program, style. And he says, write down your goals, then take on a base program that handles a lot of those goals, and then start adding in things from other programs or other styles, designs, whatever, and stitch them together how you want to make the program or style that you want to get the results you want. It is about what you want. So I have my paper here, and I highly suggest you get your own paper. Now, before we get into any of that and setting up your goals, generally speaking, you are beholden to no one. You know, I believe there are 2 obligations that you have, and that's it. Friends, family, partners. If they're of a decent size, they're not absurdly heavy, absurdly ginormous, absurdly, their proportions aren't scaled up to the point that they're just an absurd, awkward object to move. You should be able to help them out of a first floor in the event that there's an emergency, say a fire, and twist their ankle or something. Either you move them out or their demise is guaranteed. There's that. I think you should be fit enough, strong enough, and enduring enough to get them out of a first floor building that's not too terribly big. Whatever that means to you is up to you. I mean, obviously, like if you're in the middle of aircraft storage facility, good luck. But that's one. 2 is if you have children, or you're around children, or are responsible for children, for little ones. And the thing is that unfortunate scenario may happen. If you haven't seen the Ultimate Self-Defense Championship with Rokus, or by Rokus Leo, one of the scenarios they are given, it's a bunch of martial artists, is they must protect a child while some crazy person is trying to get into their space and get to the child. I don't wish that on anyone, unless terrible parent and it's a CPS worker trying to get them away. But generally speaking, don't wish that on anyone. And you want to be able to protect, because you can't chuck your child. You can't chuck them away, you know? And if you do that, you're going to cause more problems, because now, one, you're distracted. Two, you caused injury over here. Three, you're going to get sucker punched over here. So stuff like that. But it's very similar to the story of Milo of Croton, where he would grab a pomegranate and other wrestlers would try to take it out of his hands, and it would come out perfectly fine despite the jostling. You may need to do that. You may need to be here while also over here, strength, control, self-regulation, all that. So those are the two general scenarios that I would say are your obligations as a person, if you have those obligations in your life. Now, that said, what do we do? Goals, the actual recommendations, the actual thing that you want to get to achieve. So I'm going to do it for me. I already have it here. I already have my new system, but here it goes. Something that I've noticed is that I'm not as strong as I used to be. In high school, I've lost fluidity. I've lost the ability to, well, not fluidity, but I've lost the ability to exert force to make things happen. I wasn't necessarily the smoothest person around. It was just the ability to do things because I was strong. High school, I mean, they're not the most impressive lifts, but they were impressive for me at the time. I could do deadlift 225 by 13. If I tried for one rep max, it was like 300, and I weighed 185. So, nothing crazy. I could bench press 185 for reps, which was body weight. I could leg press 630 pounds for 2, because I was in cross country, and my legs were awesome. Then I could do weighted pull-ups with like an extra 35 pounds on me. 30, 35. It was either one of those. And I had all this strength, and because of that strength, I could do more, and I could handle more. So strength, write that down. It's there. Cardio. My cardio is not as good as it used to be. Not anywhere close. It's unfortunate, but it's true. So, cardio. And by the way, cardio is necessary for both strength and muscle size, because it is the engine that allows you to do more work. You have poor cardio, you get tired faster, and you recover slower. That doesn't sound like someone who wants to get bigger or stronger. Now, here's the thing. When I was training like that in high school, I would constantly grind myself into the ground. I didn't know any better. I was just work, because more work equals better. More work, more better. Not true. Not true at all. I need to keep fatigue fairly low. My life is going to change. It's going to change drastically. I'm going to have I'm going to have some obligations. One, taking care of myself. Food, water, as much sleep as possible, hygiene. All that. It doesn't take a ton of time, but it takes some time. Another one, my dog. That's 2. 3, whatever I have to do around the house. Whatever I have to do. And that takes time. So I'm going to get myself an education. And in doing so, I need to be able to think. And I don't know if you ever push yourself very, very hard on a workout and do it frequently. It takes a toll on your mental capacity. You actually get dumber, and not, permanently, but you can't think as fast. You're not as snappy. You're not as witty. You're just more sluggish. And that sluggishness, that fatigue messes you up. So got to keep fatigue low. Low time commitment. Like I said, not going to have a lot of time to do much of anything. Just get it done. So low time commitment. So I have strength, I have cardio, low fatigue, low time commitment. And that really does cover it. That really covers it. I don't have any particular skills, which is not true, but it is. I don't have any particular skills I want to master. I am more of yes, I want to swing heavy weights, and I did say swing. I want to lift heavy weights, and I want to be able to do it and I want to be able to jack up my heart rate like crazy without feeling absolutely exhausted for the rest of the day. So I set up the program. Now, for general cardio, I know there's this thing called the shunting effect, where if you pump blood from one part of your body or do an exercise that requires one part of your body, then it requires the other half of your body, it creates a shunting effect. In other words, your body has to shove blood to one side and then shove blood to the other, which makes your heart work harder. Okay, how do I get that? Pretty easy, burpees. Now, I have seen Matt Shrivelly say, it doesn't do jack squat for your cardio. And he's like, well, it does, but it's not a cardio thing. It's like, it makes you better at burpees. It's true. Unless you give yourself a time limit. Density training. Density training is awesome for this. You can do two things. Either you do the same amount of work and make it faster and compress the time, or you have the same amount of time and do more work in that time. So I chose burpees, and I'll talk about the progressions later. But that one's mostly for cardio and a tiny bit of strength, especially for upper and lower body. The more reps you do, the more it requires your strength and strength endurance. And I'm only giving myself 20 minutes, so there's the low time commitment, 3 times a week. Now, my B day, which is going to require a lot of strength and cardio, the fatigue will be higher here, but it generally shouldn't be so awful that I can't recover, goes the following. And this program does work. It will give you results. I did it when I was going from a freshman to a sophomore, because I was very sickly. It's this style anyway, not necessarily this workout, but this style. I was very sickly from 8th to freshman year, and I lost a lot of weight. And I got really, really skinny. I looked like a lollipop head. My neck was like that, like good, solid 2 inches thinner. And it goes as follows. You pick 3 exercises for 30 seconds each, and then you get 30 seconds to rest. Another 3 exercises, 45 seconds to rest. Another 3 exercises, 30 seconds, and you get a minute. You get sets of 3 exercises back to back. You can take a little break in between the second and the third to get a sip of water or whatever, but generally speaking, they're back to back. And then you get 30 seconds, 45, 60 of rest. And it keeps increasing. I think I stopped at 1.5 minutes when I did it before. I wish I had that old program. I never wrote it down. I put it on my computer where it used to have timer. I had all the timers set. It had it set up, and I would press 1, and it would go to the next one, go to the next one, go to the next one. Oh, brutal. Loved it. Anyway, first 3 exercises. Sandbag squats. That is going to help with back strength, leg strength, and that'll be awesome. Strength and a little bit of cardio, because you're trying to get as many reps as you can in those 30 seconds. That's the main thing. As many reps as you can in those 30 seconds. Next up, kettlebell press. A little bit of strength, a tiny bit of cardio. Again, because it's all density training, so it's all some level of cardio. But that would work front delt and a little bit of chest, some triceps. Sandbag floor to shoulder. So pick it up from the ground, pick it up while standing up, by the way, and then onto the other shoulder. A little bit of rotation, lifting. It's good. Rest 30 seconds. Now, after the 30 seconds, 2-hand club, alternating circle, left, which means the left hand is on top. Now, do I have any? Yeah, we'll use this. All right. Well, that was unfortunate. I had little bits of paper in there. So pretend this is the club. The club goes up higher. This is the handle. You have your hands here. Feet pointed to the front. Push all the way through. You're turning, so it would be more rotating this way. Let me get a better angle. You're here. You're facing the front. You turn, push, come back, come through. And you don't necessarily have to come through here. I like just catching, pushing. Not a lot of space here to do it. And then that's left. So left hand on top. Then the next workout, or the next exercise is to switch hands. That handles the first 2 exercises. Then it's goblet curls. hold a kettlebell from the horns and with the horns up instead of, or bottom down, whatever, in its normal position. Grab it from the horns, quickly rep it out. Let gravity just bring it back down and just rep it out. That pumps a huge amount of blood to the biceps. Good stuff. Rest for 45 seconds. Then you have the 2-hand shield cast left. Same idea. This is with a club. Grab it here. You're turning here. You're twisting, standing up straight, twisting. Point your feet to the front. Come around over the opposite ear. So top hand over opposite ear. Let your arms, your hands sink here. Thumb to your collar. And then it swings. Let it rotate. I think I have a duster here. This might... Oh. No, this will be better. My bar. My big-ass ruler. All right. So I can't necessarily... So pretend, here... I'm gonna have to choke it up. There you go. Here. Turn through. It's sunk down. Let it turn. You see how it's coming out on the side over here? Let it turn. You should even rotate with it. And using the momentum, not muscling it through, your grip should actually be quite light here. Not muscling it through. Let it swing back over. Terrible. And then catch it here. So you're going to be moving in a circular pattern. I have videos of this on the channel. Mostly in shorts. Check it out. It's easier to see it with a mace. Anyway, so top hand left, top hand right. And the reason for that is that I think it's the top hand. Yeah, the top hand does more work. So you kind of want to balance it out. And then kettlebell swings for 30 seconds. So that's the 3 exercises in a row. Rest for 60 seconds, and then the last 30 seconds is a core flex. So it's just an isometric hold, which means you're not moving, you're just flexing everywhere. Try to get every muscle in your core to just flex and tighten up, so that way you have more stability through your core. Now, it looks like this. You can pause there and look at it. I'm sorry about my handwriting. You know what? Here, let me a little bit closer. There you go. All right, now the progressions. So for the burpees, every workout just add 1 rep. Now, how do I add that 1 rep? I front load it and then add more. So I do every minute on the minute. I started with 20. So when I started a timer, 0 seconds, 0 minutes, 1. Then at 1 minute, 0 seconds, 2. Or do 1. So that's total of 2. 1, 1. And I kept doing that. So at 2 minutes, 1, 3 minutes, 1, 4 minutes, all the way up to 19 minutes. And that's the 20. And then from there, I got 20. Now it's time for 21. This was the second workout. 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and so on. And then I would do 2, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. 2, 2, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. And so I keep putting it onto the next minute, so I get more sets of 2 rather than 1 front heavy, and then it's more spread out. It will eventually get to the point where there are no breaks. I need to learn to count for high numbers, but it's slow. It's a slow progression, and every single burpee you add actually drops the effort increase each time, or the percentage effort increase each time. So when you go from 20 to 21, it's 5%. But when you go from 30 to 31, it is 3.3 repeating percent, or 3.4, something like that. It's closer to 4 than or to 3. It will round down to 3 if I'm not mistaken. And so the increase in percent increase in effort changes, or in output changes each time. So it drops. It does become easier, kinda. Now for my B day, my more complicated day, you have the sandbag. So I must hit 15 and 16 reps. 15 reps for the squats, 16 reps for floor to shoulder. I'm allowed to add 5 pounds. Plain and simple. For the kettlebell work, I have to hit 20 reps on all of them. So 20 reps on the goblet curls, 20 reps on the kettlebell press, and 20 reps on the kettlebell swings. 20 reps for kettlebell swings isn't crazy, but you got to remember that because it's using momentum and acceleration, it weighs more. And so you feel the forces on your body. And then for two-hand club, I must hit 15 reps on all exercises and add 1.25 pounds until from 7.5 pounds all the way to 26.25 or 26.75 pounds. Either way, that's what I'm aiming for. And that's because of what I have. I will eventually get more weight, but that's what I have. Those are the skill sets. Those are the progressions. And then I have a schedule. It's Monday through Friday. Now this is ideal. A day is burpees, B day is this. This is ideal. And the reason why I say it's an ideal is because life happens. Sometimes you're going to be tired. Sometimes you're going to be like, I don't want to work out today. And you should probably listen to yourself. Not all the time. Sometimes get in there, get it done. But if you're like, oh my God. If it's hard to wake up, if it's hard to get up out of bed, probably in your best interest to get some more rest. You probably pushed too hard too soon. Recover, try again. And that's it. That really is it. That's my workout program. That's how you set up your own stuff. Create your goals. Write out your goals. Find the stuff that works for those goals. Take what you enjoy and stitch them together. And just make sure there isn't too much overlap that it messes you up. By the way, low time commitment. Okay. Burpees, 20 minutes. That's pretty good. That's a short workout for most people. For my B day, I believe it's like 7.75 minutes. Let me see. 30 seconds, 60, 90, 120. So just in the first 4 exercises, it's just 2 minutes. Okay? Then 30, 60, or 120, 150, 180, so that's 3 minutes. 210, that's 3.5 minutes. 255. Man, why am I doing the math here? I have the math over here. So for the first 3 exercises and the rest period, you got a total of 2 minutes. That's how long it should take, roughly. Add a few seconds for a sip of water. And then the next 3 exercises plus the rest time, it's 4 minutes, 15 seconds. Again, give some time for a sip of water here or there. For the last set of 3 exercises plus the rest time, it is 6:45. And then the last exercise is 30 seconds. It gets me to 7:15. But a lot will happen in those 7:15. Anyway, this is a long video, and I don't know how many people will see it, but if you do see it, leave a like, share it around, subscribe for more. I know I can be long-winded. I'm trying to get better at it gradually. And get out there, do something, and have a good one. Happy New Year.